It's our Elvis.
Star Wars has impacted a lot of my life.
It changed my life.
I was always kind of fascinated by the Star Wars phenomenon. I mean, I like the movies, but I know people that are obsessed with them. It has always seemed like most of America has seen the movies, and for the most part, like them. Why do so many people connect with these movies? And why my generation in particular? In 1999, Star Wars is projected to make over $20 billion, more than the gross national product of Jamaica, Cambodia, and El Salvador combined. It seems like everyone has seen this movie.
Put it this way, I watch Star Wars every day. It's like a mini-series for me.
Yep, I've been living the Force for, since I was, let's see, 77, since I was 4 years old.
Star Wars is one of those kind of things that goes down from generation to generation. It's like Frank Sinatra, or I don't know if Rocky Horror is transcending generations or not, but you know, I mean, I didn't, I'm bad out of hell, but it definitely has. So Star Wars has.
You know, I guess it's just become part of the folklore, you know.
They sped the track up. They slowed it down.
Film history.
A continuance of my youth, of my fantasies, of my dreams, of my thoughts.
It's the experience and the community and the feeling that you're all together and you all have like this one bond, and it doesn't matter what religion or what race or anything that you are, or what country you come from. I know people in Norway, I know people in Germany, I know people in Australia, and they all love Star Wars.
Joe, are you excited about the new Star Wars movie coming out?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to death.
I found out people all over the country were lining up early for the new Star Wars movie. The internet seemed like a perfect way to find other filmmakers to help document the fans in their cities.
Click here. Maybe this guy in Chicago will film something for us.
Right there?
No, click here.
Wait, you're just pointing.
No, right below it, right there.
Okay.
Click there. No, don't click on the girls. That goes to a bad place.
No, watch. It's.
Why you always click on Natalie Portman?
She's hot.
Believe it or not, we actually found places we could find other fans.
Tonight's the first night the kids are camping out in line. It's cold and rainy. Terry's cranky. I can't feel my legs. And only 42 days to go. Well, guys, this is day one. Now, how long have you guys been out here?
Hours.
Well, he and I got here last night. We were the first in line, and we were there till we got there around 7. We left at around 11, and I got back here at 12:30 in the morning. So, yeah.
So now, after a day of miserableness, I mean, how do you guys feel? I mean,
this is great. It shows our dedication.
It's not miserable.
Yeah,
it's just fun with
yeah, we love it. People coming by like saying, "Oh, you guys are weirdos," but it was great. We love it.
Oh yeah.
Right, so what kind of comments have you guys been getting from the passerbys?
Yeah, very mixed. Since our phone number's on the website, people from all over the country have been calling us to praise us and to heckle us. It's really weird.
Right. And people even out of the country, people from England called.
Really?
Yeah.
People are going to see this as a historical event. It's going to be a big part of your life. I mean, you'll remember this day. I remember him. I remember everybody who was here during that event. I would tell my kids about it or whatever, you know?
Yeah, because you could say, like, oh, yeah, I was in line. It rained on me. People drove by and threw things at me. I don't know. But you could say I was there, and I went through all this, and I came through. It was great. It was one of the great experiences of my life.
It begins right here.
Yep.
Right here.
I kind of like these guys. I didn't understand them, but they were nice enough. I decided I would spend the next 42 days exploring my generation's obsession with Star Wars. At the time, it seemed easy enough.
People are crazy. You know what I mean? It's just, don't you have lives for 42 days? It's too much.
When you wait in line for the movie, you're there for 2 hours when the movie's over and you're done. Waste all that time in line.
But you could say you waited online when it happened.
Well, you just look like a fool and standing out there all this time when you could be doing better things.
Maybe it's going to be like Woodstock.
Geek stock, but not Woodstock.
Yeah.
They're zealots. Yes, they are. It's cultish.
Do you have any opinions on like the new Star Wars movie coming out?
The new Star Wars movie coming out. I have to admit I've been intrigued with the first computer-generated character. I can't remember his name right now. He's the creature who unfortunately falls into that power field by that speedster and gets a little bit shocked. I saw the 60-minute special on that, but I can't remember his name. It's one thing I really lust for. I really would like to see more big, tall, super strong, muscular female characters, whether they're beautiful or monstrous looking.
What is your son's name?
His name is Anakin.
Anakin?
Yes.
Which is Darth Vader's true Christian name or whatever.
The name of his true self.
What is Anakin's middle name?
Carl.
Yeah, right when they started the fanfare, and then I sat down, and I remember from the moment that it said, for a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I was mesmerized by the whole thing, and I saw it about 3 times that night.
Well, this is my particular vision of Boba Fett. You know, it's like I don't want to just. It's a promotional gimmick to sort of. You know, it just goes in line with the whole concept of like Star Wars hip hop.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And
you've got the.
I wanted to make. Yeah, I got the pens in case
pens.
he wants to tag up. Got the beeper, got the Walkman, the whole nine. You know, all the retro '70s shit started coming back, and Star Wars kind of got swept in with that, and that's how I picked it up. And I started sampling Star Wars on like some other project, and it sounded cool. I put like the Death Star plans are not in the main computer, you know, and it sounded cool. So then, and I was gonna make a little video.
You see, the whole house is fantasy. Comic book stuff, Star Wars. Do you want us, like, we were thinking about just wearing all Jeffrey's comics, because then the whole family could wear the same thing. Do you want us to do that, or costumes, or what do you guys want us to do?
Ready?
Okay, good. So just start talking.
So you want to know about the Jedi?
Yes.
The Jedi Master Jedi.
That's right.
Well, I guess it speaks for itself. Thousands of years ago, there was a creation, only destined to appear on the planets at the appropriate time. I only been active, fully active as a Jedi, as my full element for just this year.
Time to count. A beat like this is doing damage. Some try to keep me off the stage because the way I look and the way I play. I'm not tripping. A song like this is definitely hitting. And being so hard and cracking window when the rhythm track keeps you going. To Westport Jedi.
These are some new additions to my collection. You know, the last 20 years I've been a big collector, and then basically, early '99, I just went overboard and knew about these large-size replica props and decided I had to get one. And so what happened was I got one, and I realized he was all by himself, which the first one was Haunted Carbonite. The next thing was I had to get R2. So I got an R2 unit, which is an authentic, fully licensed character prop. But then I added the CD enhancer to it, so now I can talk because that's not a feature that came from the factory. So after R2, I was realizing Han was so lonely that he's got to have his, his partner in crime, which is Boba Fett. It's like a combo. Like, you got to have Haunted Carbonite and Boba Fett. That's just the way it is. Yoda I bought off of eBay and had to fork out a little more than what he's going for these days. What I really want, okay, this is totally on camera, is Natalie Portman. That's what I really want. But enough of that.
Like a life-size Natalie Portman?
No, I want the real Natalie Portman.
Okay, I'm Nova. This is Rob.
Yep.
Rob, you can say your own name.
Oh, I'm Rob.
That's Rob.
We play kazoo.
We play kazoo. Started a while back at an open mic and decided to do the kazoo because we can't play any other instrument. And the only thing that's really paid off for us as far as cash is concerned was some of the Star Wars stuff we did, because when the movie came out, I'm a big Star Wars fan from the past, but you know, we decided to just jump on that bandwagon.
Her name is Leia, and she dances for the herd, dressed up in a go-to-piece just like a cosmic slug.
I decided to consult an expert. Christopher Vogler, a Fox executive and story analyst, had written that most successful movies share a common structure called the hero's journey. Star Wars was the basis for this theory.
Well, the hero's journey is a pattern that seems to exist in all times and in all cultures, and basically it's the story of every person trying to break away from their ordinary world and establish a unique identity. And even though this is a secondary experience, watching a film, in some ways it's more real than many people's lives are to them. Is it escaping from reality? I think, yeah, of course, some people flee headlong into these fantasy worlds and leave the real world behind for good, and you know, that's dangerous. But I think the healthy application of it is that it gives people a model. I could be cool like Han Solo, or I can be innocent at times as I need to be, and idealistic like Luke Skywalker, or I can be wise and help other people as the mentor characters Obi-Wan and Yoda do. So I think it gives people a taste of something that's missing from the culture right now.
What kind of people do you guys meet here usually? What kind of people attract?
Japan, Taiwan, all races in the whole country is here. I think in here you get
all kinds,
all races, but yeah, you just get them all. Very few in color. I mean, because they're not in baseball, I guess. But you do have some. But the rest in Spanish, Italians, Greeks, name it. It's all here.
It was pretty clear that some of these people weren't exactly playing with a full deck. I was searching for a veteran fan, someone with charm and charisma. I found the Jedi Fly.
Really? Yeah, I'm Jedi Fly. So it's like everyone in here knows that I am the kind of like the person who knows about the old Star Wars more than anybody else in here.
So you actually had a Jawa here?
I have the Jawa. I'm his manager.
That's awesome.
No, he is, like I said, this is Hal Walmsley. He is the Jawa from Star Wars. He is the second Jawa. He's actually the one who actually put the restraining bolt on R2. He's actually the one that went up to the sandcrawler and had it go up in the air. He's actually the one that shot R2-D2 and carried it away. You got to remember, anytime you see R2-D2 with a third wheel, the original Jawa wasn't there. The one that was actually in deals. Anytime the third one was in there, that's where the definition is. And Hal's not trying to take away from the other guy because he's a good friend of Kenny Baker's, who is unfortunately deceased now. But I mean, you know, not Kenny, but the other guy.
Next, we talked to a Hollywood icon who has produced hundreds of films, over 90% of which have turned a profit. He has helped establish the careers of Ron Howard, Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper, Martin Scorsese, James Cameron, John Sayles, Barbara Hershey, and Tommy Lee Jones.
I remember the first time I saw Star Wars, and I was amazed. I was amazed first at the great production value, but also simply what a brilliant film it was. It had the commercial elements of the big sets, and I think the action, the special effects, and the mythology have all worked together to make Star Wars not only a tremendous commercial success, but I really think one of the most important creations artistically in the late 20th century. I think Lucas was influenced a little bit by me, but basically by all of the films he saw.
We wanted to know what people thought of the Star Wars script before it was made. Harry Uffland, an agent at the time, was given the script for his client Jodie Foster, who was being considered for the part of Princess Leia.
I remember so well when he gave me the script for Jodie, and I read it, and I mean, to a fault, I have opinions, and I had no opinion when it came to this, because I just felt, I remember this so well. Jodie and I have spoken about it. I said, I had no idea. You know, this is all in his head. You couldn't read it and know what it was going to look like. You know, you couldn't imagine those effects because we hadn't seen them. You know, I said, maybe it's going to be great. I don't know. Well, and the timing just happened to be right. I mean, I've said to Marty, and Marty to me, I don't know that we could get Raging Bull made today. I mean, when you're going to have some 11-year-olds ask you if, you know, why can't Jake LaMotta be more sympathetic?
We're twin sister with Portland's own Star Wars tribute band. If you haven't heard of us, well, you know, word will get around. Look what you've done to me, Kenobi. Look what you've done to me. Look what you've done to me, Kenobi. Look what you've done.
I never really understood the Force. Is it a religion or something used to move heavy objects?
The Force is, I think it's just a way to describe the sense that we all have, no matter what our religion may be, that there is some kind of raw energy that we can tap. And you can use it depending on your tastes, in a dark way or in a positive way, and I think that's the beauty of Star Wars, is that at a time when people were very morally confused, it was willing to come out and say, given the choice, let's choose the good.
Give me a video camera and the Force and I'll change the world.
When you tap into the Force, you know, a lot of different things can happen. I mean, like me, obviously the talent thing. I'm not the greatest performer or musician or vocalist or whatever, but in the next coming years, you know, that will all be, you know, proven.
The Force will take me straight through the bacteria these days. But unfortunately, they have bacterial diseases that you cannot fight with the Force of either a laser or anything, and that's AIDS. So wear rubber, please. Thank you.
I believe that there is a higher energy that we personally don't necessarily understand, but could control.
What would you do if you had the Force?
I don't know that I don't. We do a lot of mind reading, and that's why we believe he doesn't quite have as many words as he does now. You know when he's hungry and...
Try it right now. Tell me what he's thinking.
He's thinking the shakers make nice noise when you throw them on the ground.
It's, regardless of what you call it, what the Force is the power that connects us to either nature or to a greater power, and it can be anything from Ki, Chi, Hado, or the Holy Spirit. And
so you're a transcendentalist?
Somewhat. In that.
You sure?
In that, all of that it is basically what it is the power that is tangible to man.
I wouldn't say there's a such thing as the Force, but I think it's as real of a concept as God is. You know, I mean...
My use of the Force at the moment would be pretty mundane. I would just use it to sweep cars out of my way on the freeway, or I did lift cars up and move them so I could get parking places.
You know, depending on what culture you are from, how religious you are, how spiritual you are, it all falls down to perception, what that Force is. To some it may be a god, to some it may be an energy that just is an energy that they feel spiritually.
I would always be sure to use the Force for niceness and not evil, because I've seen what happened to the majority, or the opponents that Maxwell Smart faced, who definitely used their power for evil.
Right, and you wouldn't do that?
Well, definitely not.
Right, only for good.
Definitely.
Great. Another thing, do you believe in the Force?
What?
In the Force?
Well, I probably would if someone could demonstrate it for me, but I don't know.
If you had it, what would you do with it?
Lift every car in this parking lot.
The Force.
Tangible to man.
Move heavy objects. The Force.
Tangible to man.
Sweep cars out of my way.
The people in line kept talking about the Star Wars convention in Denver, Colorado. Fans all over the country were gathering together to see exclusive footage of the new movie and guest appearances by its stars.
How do you like living in Denver?
I don't. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. The Star Wars to me was a bunch of fooey. It was fantasy. It was No, I never really cared for it, to be right honest with you. I don't spend my time that way. I'm into motorcycles, cars, this sort of thing. And another thing, you know, I wanted to tell you about young people. Yeah. You don't have no responsibilities growing up like I did when I was coming up. When I was coming up, shucks, I was 5, 6 years old. I was helping my dad haul ashes out. We had a coal-burning furnace.
Once again, despite the rain and cold, thousands of fans from across the country lined up.
Well, as I was leaving today, my sister was chanting, "My brother's a geek," but... Hi, Mom!
We needed to find a guide, someone who knew these people, someone who could relate.
Straw?
There's a lot of wear and tear on the...
Yeah, how long have you been doing this routine with the Boba Fett?
2 years. Mostly Halloween and any kind of function that I can rock.
Yeah, terrific day. Yeah, terrific day. Yeah, terrific day.
Awesome, that's dope. That's way cool.
It's the big gold chain.
I have a big crush on Boba Fett. I have since I was like 10.
You guys like Boba Fett?
When he was a young man, he had big plans. Gonna be a bounty hunter someday. Got a mask on his face, flies through space, making contests all over the place, singing Boba Fett will rock you. He'll rock you all now. Boba Fett will rock you. Don't be trying him. Boba Fett will rock you.
I want to be loved, you know? I want people to like me, and what's neat about this convention is that, you know, none of, you know, white people asking to take my picture, you know, they don't see my sexuality, so it's really not about that at all. You know, it's completely about this fantasy of, like, being, you know, a stealth trooper.
What character do I relate with most? Probably Luke, really, because he's from a farm, like kind of living out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like the same thing. And, you know, he got to be this, you know, big person, you know, really a big star in the Alliance, and I'm just like, I hope to be somebody someday, so probably why.
It is unusual being here because we're Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans and just science fiction fans in general. There are a lot of people think it's really great. A few don't.
I agree.
What's your favorite character in all the films?
My favorite character is Yoda.
Do you identify with Yoda?
Yeah, because his size and my size, and the fact that I like the message that he projects for me, that, you know, don't judge people by their size, don't judge them by what's inside, but, you know, find power and force within yourself. And I think that's a great message to send to anybody, but especially great for someone like me who is different and small.
What's your favorite scene in the movies?
That scene where Yoda lifts the X-Wing out of the swamp in Empire Strikes Back.
What's the most affecting scene in all the movies?
The most affecting scene? For me, it's like learning for Luke from Yoda or Ben, I can't remember really which, I'm really jumbled, that Darth Vader is his father. And you just, you know, wow, this evil machine guy is my dad, you know? It's, that for me is really big.
What was your dad like?
Would Luke be dead? My dad was kind of a bastard, but other than that, we won't get into there.
Yeah, I never knew my father when I was young.
And you know, when Luke was brought up, he never knew his and that. And you know, Luke Skywalker's kind of like a big hero to me when I was young. I don't just the way he handles stuff, you know, and he's always trying to make himself better. I really like that, you know. And, you know, I hope someday maybe I can find a person to look up to or have a mentor for me, like, you know, like Yoda or Ben was to him sometime. It'd be a great thing someday, you know. You know.
My father thinks it's insane, really. My mother kind of relates because she really likes the Beatles, so she kind of relates to that, but my father just thinks it's all crazy.
Mashu, mangyang edge, machochu, ni bay in march at wolf, cool. Back my head bench, edge your geek duck, vapu medi move, back rack me shoof duck, go, my man go my shoof duck, mouth. Ha! What you done in the past, who's winning at last, who's running fast, now who's the badass? Don't you wanna be dead when we get it through your head and you feel the beat, this is where you wanna be. Don't you wanna be dead when we get it through your head and you feel the beat, this is what you want.
This basically shows more or less our duties, what we're doing. Obviously, Countdown Productions, what we're a part of. I was a chef for 2 years. I'm more than capable of cooking. And so we've actually cooked steaks out here. We've cooked some live crab.
I camped out for Elvis tickets one night. This is as close as I ever come.
Elvis Costello?
Elvis Presley.
I'm sorry.
Elvis Presley.
I think it's going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be any tension or anything like that. There's going to be constant moving around the line, constant people coming and going. I think it's going to be just fine.
What do you think of the kids who are camping out online waiting for tickets?
I think they're idiots. I mean, it's a great novel idea, but I couldn't see spending a month of my life to do that. I mean, I got a kid to feed. I got a rent to pay. I think there's more important things that people can be doing with their lives than waiting in line. They could be developing their own careers in film.
I was expecting maybe a couple days of rain, but yeah, I wasn't expecting to be out here for 6 weeks either. So 6 weeks is killing us.
How's it affect your morale?
We're gonna do it. We can't leave. You know, we're gonna leave and look bad now. You gotta stay. You have to stay. There's no question.
Some of the pieces, such as the Power of the Force figures, can run from anywhere from about $300 up to $2,000, depending on the actual figure.
For me, if the toys hadn't been there, I don't think Star Wars would have been such a big deal for me at all. You know, I was very young at that time, you know, and the toys were a big factor. I mean, it would still have been cool movies, but the fact that I could have gone home and acted out the movies, you know, with my little figures and, you know, have little battles and, you know, throw the Millennium Falcon off the roof or whatever, you know.
Maybe one of the reasons that I like collecting is it's a thrill of the chase. And I can't wait until May 3rd when I can go into stores and have to fight people for toys. I mean, that will be great.
How much did you pay for this poster you just bought?
I paid $50 for it. Yesterday night, I was like, I didn't want to go sleep because I wanted to buy it so badly, so bad.
Yeah.
And like, it means so much to me. There's a princess, she's a full makeup and everything. That's what makes it so unique.
Yeah, the princess there, you like her?
I like her very much. And Darth Sidious, Darth Maul.
Is she hotter than Princess Leia in the,
very much.
In the thing?
Oh, yes.
Even in the bikini?
Well, with the bikini, Leia is better, but I really don't look at that. I look at the beauty outside from the face. You know, I want to spend $200 on a figure. I went for that for Toys of Us. So I'm just keeping patience.
We are here at Toys R Us. It's about midnight. The first toys are going on sale. There are about 300 grown men here who are in line to buy what are essentially dolls.
It's like a drug. You know, when you have a certain dependency like alcohol or some kind of drug, you gotta have it. And it's the rush. It's not the rush of having it, it's the rush of getting it. Because we were looking through the glass, how they were putting the displays, but we didn't actually see the toys until we walked in.
Was it better than Christmas?
Oh yeah, much better. Because Christmas they didn't have the toys we wanted, you know, and now this is the toys we wanted. Look at that.
What are you guys doing? Just sorting through them and seeing which ones you want?
Yeah, we're getting four of
each.
everything.
Oh, I see.
When we finally figure out which figures we needed, then everybody already was in, and they were pulling out the cases, and everybody was fighting for them. They put it up, and like 3 or 4 hands tried to grab the same stuff, and I saw a lot of toys being ripped apart. I've seen people fighting for food, and it's just as scary as what I saw that night, people fighting for a toy.
You didn't get everything you wanted? I'm gonna get kicked out of my apartment, fired from work. I spent all my money at Toys R Us.
Oh
Pero estoy muy contento porque compré todo lo que quería.
Ah, gracias.
Sí.
Okay.
For the stars, they become just secondhand. I mean, I'm not constantly walking and looking at them the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping on top of them now, as a matter of fact.
And what sort of intolerances are there?
Just basically the Friday night, Saturday night drunk Hollywood natives. They've probably caused the most trouble.
Tell me about it. What time do the bars close?
2.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. And that's when you gotta start watching out.
Tell me a little bit about the neighborhood of Hollywood, California.
Like I said, it's gotten a lot better, but there's still problems. We Friday night, 2 nights ago, or 2 weeks ago, we had a car drive by, chucked some eggs at us. Luckily, they were really drunk, they missed.
In Los Angeles, the passers-by threw things at the people in line. In New York, the people in line threw things at the passers-by. Apparently, someone in this van was making fun of the people in line. So, they threw rocks. Luckily, the police were Star Wars fans and let them keep their place in line.
They could have hurt somebody.
Is it good business or are they driving people away?
Bad business.
Bad, really?
Yeah, because nobody can see my fruits. And then nobody come here, nobody buy nothing.
So you'll be glad when they're gone?
Yeah, I look maybe now I close.
No way would I ever wait 42 days for anything else. Just forget it. 42 days, never again. We'll make a plaque and be like, I wasted 42 days of my life waiting in line. Thank you very much. Done.
I sort of admire the drive that makes these kids do that. That it is important enough in their lives that they want to go through that. Maybe it's also an experience that they want to have too.
Yeah.
I camped out in front of Grauman's Chinese.
This is what's happening.
Oh, I kind of know about it.
Oh, okay.
I saw him yesterday on TV at the Grauman's Chinese with tents and all that.
Yeah, we've been following those guys and stuff like that. I mean, what do you think of that phenomenon? Have you ever seen
I think if
like
that's what... Yeah. I remember people camping out for different tickets. How were you?
They used to do that for years. They still do in England, don't they?
No, I think they've stopped camping out now.
I heard them. They were camping out this year.
So,
if Jacques Tati showed up, we'd have camp out for him.
There's a track like this on Mark O'Connor.
The past 2 days, the Holiday Inn right next door is the places in Washington, the telephones. The Holiday Inn is great because they have these large sinks. We can scrub almost every part of our socially acceptable bodies. Keep us keeping ourselves clean. I've actually been washing my hair. We've got toothpaste, mouthwash, soap, shampoo. The only thing I'm missing is conditioner, so my hair isn't at its bounciest.
I think it's something where the going to the film or the sports event or the rock concert becomes part of the event, and the camping out becomes part of the experience. I wouldn't do it, but there are people who will do it.
They're there now. They're hanging in there through the rain, through the sun, through the tourists, through the security, through the police, through just people mocking them.
How are you sleeping at nights?
Either in the car, or if it's not raining, sometimes outside in several layers of sweaters and things like this.
Are you comfortably sleeping?
I had the best sleep of of the week when I was sleeping out here on the street a couple of days ago. So, yeah.
Looks like I'm feeling 20-something. Oh, now I'm feeling 20-something. Oh, now. X marks the spot. Generation's all I got. X marks the spot. Generation's all I got.
I've talked to all sorts of girls telling them I'm doing this, and they're all like, oh, that's kind of stupid, but at the same time they also ask, could you get me a ticket?
Si usted pensaba que la fiebre de la guerra de las galaxias había terminado, pues se equivocó, ya que continúa y con más fuerza que nunca. Los boletos se pusieron a la venta hoy, y adivine qué, los fanáticos están vueltos locos. De hecho, en todo el país han salido a las calles y han hecho largas filas por varias horas para poder adquirir ellos el primer boletito que les permita ver esta nueva versión de la Guerra de las Galaxias. Usted no se la pierda.
I don't think you really know the truth. And if I stay here much longer, I really could get through. And all in all, I think you understand what it's like to be alone, dear. You got the upper hand. Oh, Jane, you're making me wait. You're making me so bad you don't know what is wrong or right. And I don't want to really stick around. So you've got to make it happen and get yourself out down.
You buying tickets or you selling tickets? Are you a Nazi?
No, I ain't no Nazi.
Well, what's the C Kyle for?
Cool.
My name is Lori, and I'm here to buy Star Wars tickets because I've been waiting 16 years for this day, first of all. And then when I found out 3 years ago that they were making this movie, I said, I'm taking that day off. I'm seeing Star Wars, first episode, first showing, first day. I'm going to be there.
Okay, we're going to start moving groups of about 20 people in at a time. And once it hits 3 o'clock, we'll start selling. And we got 3 people that are going to be selling tickets for this. So we should be all set.
The Force did bring us
Yes.
Yes.
Force
brought us here today, all at 6 o'clock this morning. And Mr. George Lucas brought us here today. Yes. We have to thank him.
How's it going today, Dennis?
Great. I'd like to audition for one of the next 2 Star Wars. I brought my headshot here.
What would you say to George Lucas if you ever had a chance to meet him, Dennis?
Mr. Lucas, I know I could do as good a job as Harrison Ford, and I'd be excellent cast as a hero-type character in one of your movies. I'm a Hollywood icon.
Been out here for how long now?
A month and a half, since April 7th.
Excellent. Now we got you the very first night. How did things go? As expected or different? Or?
Much different than I expected, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
And how was it different?
So many ways. It was a lot more technologically advanced than I thought it would be. There were a lot more bitter than I thought I would be. I had a great time and everything, but this is a lot different than I thought it would be. More people, computers, all that kind of stuff. So everybody's so bitter now. We all so pissed off with the press because they're all over and asking all the stupid questions like, what if the movie sucks?
That's it. Let's get this guy getting me.
Okay, now. I like that. Go ahead. Where are you from, sir?
Want to roll him in?
I'm from NBC, KNBC4 here in Los Angeles.
KNBC4 in LA.
Yeah,
I'm from Hollywood, California, making a documentary about the Star Wars phenomenon.
So I like the idea. I'm making a story about you, and you're making a story about us.
Yeah, it's very postmodern, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. It's great. Now, what do you plan to do with this documentary?
Well, hopefully not get sued by Fox.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
gonna continue to get a shot of you, getting a shot of us, getting a shot of you. This is the line to be in tonight if you're a true Star Wars fan. The whole galaxy is watching. Cameras everywhere capturing the countdown. Even we were being taped.
I'm from Hollywood, California, making a documentary about the Star Wars phenomenon.
I've probably made at least a dozen friendships that, I think that will last. So I think that's the one thing beyond the movie, beyond the event, that is going to really last with me.
Drinking some beer. Drink a lot of beer.
Getting as drunk as we can.
I mean, you have to be drunk to be sitting out here on the seat, man.
I had to quit my job. It's all right.
Where'd you work at?
McDonald's.
I tell all my friends that Chewbacca was the first Latino in space because he's brown, he's big, he's hairy, nobody can understand him.
I was saying you should get a shot of the trash can because I'm amazed at how much waste is put out by all this. And also just, I'd kind of like to, if there was some way to add it up in terms of force and goodwill and money, all the manpower that's gone into this. I mean, you guys coming out here, the barriers being put up, all the wasted time, all the food, the cars parked, the people out here, all the dedication. What if that was put towards, say, a good cause? Like, not just to get a good seat. The people are here, we aren't even waiting to get into the movie. We have our tickets. We're waiting to get a front row center seat. All this effort. I mean, think about it. I don't want to be depressing, but there are just refugees in many different parts of the world, not just Kosovo, who don't really have that much to eat, and we're putting all this manpower into sitting around for good seats. It's kind of a trip. It says a lot about tomorrow America, I guess. If you were to get deep about it.
I went home.
Well, my little friend, looks like you got something stuck in your,
Help me, you're my only hope. Days before the movie was to open, Comedy Central thought it would be funny to send two comics, Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, to cut in line in front of the people who had waited there for a month. Our friends in line didn't think it was too funny. They called the police.
Jimmy has cancer. He's only got a couple days left, but I guess he can spend it in line.
How'd you guys think the bit went?
Not as well as anticipated.
Yeah? Why's that?
The police came.
That sounds funny to me.
Hey, short stop. Hang back here for a second.
It's just like... It's really funny. That was a really good bit.
Well, all right, whatever.
I, myself, have quit my job to do something that I believe strongly in and to raise money for charity and to wait in line. And all you assholes do is come out and fuck everybody. Like, we can't, nobody can do anything anymore without you people, like, coming out here and fuck everything up.
Yeah, but they donated to the charity.
I don't care.
You don't?
Now we're into the cross.
You f everything over and then you can, like, buy, you can pay everything.
Nothing.
Everybody laughed, actually. How much did you donate to the charity?
$100.
Would you be willing to give the $100 back?
What? No. I mean, that's great. If you give money to the charity because you pissed everybody off, that's great.
No, it was just there's no hard feelings. It was a. Listen, we didn't have to get anybody. It's fine. Whatever.
You know, I mean, I understand you're being paid to be a jackass, so I mean, I understand why you can't see my point of view.
Listen,
well, that's what it's all about, man. It's a good bit.
I couldn't give a shit less if you're pissed off.
Thanks.
Good night.
8, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, premiere night. Or as I like to call it, the craziest night of my life.
Yeah, go get a job, all you people standing around here doing nothing.
Gotta get off the street, get on the sidewalk now. Let's go, everybody move.
Man, I'm Saul. Saul good. I'm a Judite. I'm a Judite. I'm a young Judite. What is that? How can you? My grandfather was Israel Kenobi, the real Kenobi.
Whether the movie costs $200 million or whatever, people say you can use that money to better cultures with. Yes, you can. Yet, we still need escapism. We still need to be able to take people who are depressed, because a lot of people go to movies to feel better. And a movie will definitely take you into that realm of, wow, I feel great after it.
Everyone says I'm a bit of a fool spending $5,000 to go and see a movie. So.
If I listened to what everybody told me in life, like my parents and my friends, I never would have been Melrose Lowry Green. Boys and girls, my advice to all of you is go for it. Don't hurt anybody else, but go for it. If you want to paint houses, or you want to be a sculptor, or you want to sell yogurt, do it. And if you have an MBA, get your MBA, but sell yogurt.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character? Who do you think?
Lately, I've been more of a Lando. I just, you know, he's like a gambler. You know, he gets bad breaks, but he keeps on moving on. And I always like the fact that he was Colt 45. You know, or it works every time.
Oh, Lando, you're so fine. You're so fine. Drink Colt 45. Hey, Lando. Hey, Lando.
We love Star Wars. We also want people to go see Trekkies as well.
Is Yoda spelled backwards? Is Yoda spelled backwards? Where's your Yoda now? Where's your Yoda now?
George Lucas was able to tap into a subculture that's been ignored, and that is the science fiction fan, because they're all computer nerds. They've got the money behind them that they can take the time off to sit on a bench on the street corner. She's very hungry. She needed.
I have to take it to people, though.
Thank you.
I am not a geek, and I do have a life. I am not a geek, and I do. Well, okay, I am a geek, but I do have a life.
It was not ever my scene to be homecoming queen, or to hang from the sleeve of the captain of the football team. That's not what I am. No, a princess I would never be. But picking up a chip, my mind is dirty. Everything about me just about screams I am the anti-debutante, and I'm the child of a common man. And thank God I am what I am. Oh yeah. And all my life I tried to be what was expected of me, and that led to loneliness and misery and all the bullshit lies
The first day we were watching the footage, you guys were like so excited and so happy. And then like we slowly saw people get like more and more irritated, I think.
Yeah, I think as time went on, people got a lot, I don't know, time and pressure. People got agitated and, you know, little feuds here and now. And now it's like,
Charlie Chaplin doesn't talk.
Compare? It's just a piece in the puzzle. They're all different. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience.
I loved what I remember of it, but I slept through a lot of it. Unfortunately.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Was it worth the wait?
Definitely. Well worth the wait. I would do it again.
Jar Jar was the most annoying character in the history of movies. The movie seemed like it was really for little kids. The little kids will love it. I thought it was great. Didn't love it, but I think I'll like it a lot more come episode 2.
I don't understand why they have better things 60 years before, but whatever.
Yeah.
I liked one lightsaber duel. I thought that was good. But I didn't care about the characters, so when they died, I was just like.
Well, was this experience?
But I don't regret doing that. No, I don't regret living on Hollywood Boulevard at all.
Well, I think that was significant.
Yeah, that was a new fucking hope. This was like dismal. Makes me upset about the world.
They have no founding on their criticisms. They don't. How the hell can they make that kind of a judgment on a movie that wasn't their vision? I mean, it's like George Lucas made this movie according to what he wanted, not according to what the fans wanted. So where they come off just lambasting this movie is they have no foundation for any of their arguments. All of their arguments are invalid.
awesome experience waiting in line. Movie wasn't too good, but waiting in line made it all worth it. I don't care if the movie's good or bad. Waiting in line, it's awesome experience.
It was finally clear that the answers I was looking for were not in the movie itself. The reasons why the Star Wars phenomenon exists had to be elsewhere.
I think for me specifically, it's a lot about family and the ties of family and the importance of family and the basis of the family. If you look at the Skywalker family, they go through a lot and they're there for each other. And I think that's a really good moral lesson.
Yeah, I'd still have to say probably Archie's my favorite just because it's Archie. Right. But really, I see them as one big family, so this is my adopted family here.
I guess the biggest thing for me was just like one of those movies that I went with my dad.
Right now, this part of my life, I feel like Luke on Tatooine. I want out, but I'm kind of stuck in the situation I'm in because...
What's up?
Basically, I'm taking care of my dad.
My dad was really an avid reader. He, as long as I can remember, my dad would be sitting over at that bar, and he would be perched there from, I swear, he'd get up, he'd have a coffee. At about 9 or 10, he'd start having beers, and by noon he would have a little combination there where he'd have a beer on the right and a wine with Gatorade on the left, and in the middle he'd have a straight shot of rum or tequila, and he'd have his paperbacks.
Okay, you want to get really deep? To me, it's my own religion. It's like Man's Chinese, the theater, that's my way of going to church. Star Wars has become my church, you know, it's the book of George, as I refer to it.
Do you think this phenomenon is so enormous?
Probably because a bunch of geeks don't have any religion. They have nothing better to do with themselves.
But if Star Wars can fill that emptiness, can give them a sense of belonging to a group, can give them a participation in a myth, which is in some ways akin to a religion in an age when science is possibly supplanting religion, I think this is a positive effect and can enrich their lives.
I think it's a sad statement if it's true, because I don't think we should get our morality from movies. That said, it probably is true that people, short on morality might get morality from movies.
I think Star Wars has been a religion for the past few decades. There are a lot of Christians in this culture. Most religions are based on myth. And I think that Star Wars is just another form of the creationist myth, and, really has a lot to do with Christianity underneath. I'm not a Christian, but it just seems to really resonate with a lot of people.
I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of the organized religions, but I believe in George Lucas, and I believe in Star Wars, and I believe in Spider-Man, I believe in Superman. Most of the other stuff I think people make up because it makes them feel better. When they die, they really don't die. They're going somewhere else, to a galaxy far, far away or something, and they've got a divine sugar daddy up there that really cares about them. It'd be nice.
While we did set out to find the answers to the Star Wars phenomenon, we also learned that the people we interviewed were more than just subjects to study.
Sure. I'd never met my natural father. Never met him, never seen him, never got any alimony checks. It was part of the whole thing of the divorce. My mom didn't want to have him have anything to do with my life.
What did it make you feel like when you saw the movie?
It hurt me.
The biggest fear, because really what it's all about, and we're talking about like bringing issues out, is fear of rejection. People are afraid of being rejected and feeling like they're back in the closet again. So it's very frightening.
Yeah, man, girls will come up and be like, "No, who are you? Who are you?" And I'm like, I'm afraid to take the helmet off because I don't want to disappoint them. Take the helmet off and they're like, "Oh, okay, so you're just a dude."
In the morning, you ain't gonna feel good. You're gonna feel even worse, and then after that, you go to that, I'd never drink again, and then you start all over. It's like no self-esteem.
Now I'm mostly a peaceful individual that was tremendously picked on when I was in school. I'll have to admit, I kind of wish that when I was growing up, there was a big, I had a big strong girlfriend that beat the bullies up for me.
It was hard. I remember begging my parents to quit drinking, and thinking if they love me, they'd do it. And they'd say, okay. And they'd be kind of drunk, and they say they would. I mean, crying. And then the next day, they'd be drinking away, and I said, I thought you said you were going to quit. And I say, what? What are you talking about?
I mean, you didn't start drinking like your dad or anything like that. It was just, did you?
Yeah, except I combine it with drugs and alcohol, so I kind of modernized it the way my dad did it. I always thought I wouldn't do the same thing my dad did because I loved my dad, but it kind of disgusted me, but I did. I stopped one day when I'd gone and got loaded, and I always said, and I went into Compton to score some angel dust, and I smoked it, and I said I'd never smoke it when I had my son in the car. My son was 2. And I looked over, and he looked really sweet and looked really helpless.
Is your dad getting older, or what's the deal with that?
Well, he was paralyzed when I was about 2 years old. Since shot with hollow points. So
where was he shot?
Right here, and there's still pieces of the bullet here, right here.
Really?
Really.
Does he suffer any brain damage or anything?
No, no brain
just
damage.
Physical
Yeah.
body.
Although he does take a lot of frustrations on me. I guess in that way he's like Darth Vader.
You're telling yourself a story about your life all the time. And that's okay. That gets you through some of the stages of life. But eventually, you have to stop telling yourself a story and really experience life as it is, right now, in the moment.
I'm kind of depressed. I don't know. I was like, I don't know, because I've lived here for a month and a half. I come here every day to spend like 10 or 12 hours here, you know, just sitting around, talking to people, seeing a lot of people come and go, meeting people. I don't know, I felt somewhat important, and now, you know, it's not going to be there at all. I'm sure I'm going to keep in touch with these people, but still, there's going to be like no more line. And even if we do this again in like 3 years, it's not going to be the same. And it's a little depressing, but kind of happy because we've completed what we wanted to do. It became my fetish, became something to do, and now I don't know what I'm going to do.
It seems like some of the things that are missing in these fans' lives are missing throughout my entire generation. At least these fans believe in something, have passion for something, even have a sense of optimism. They believe that good can defeat evil, a family can reconcile, and that religion can work. That's more than I can say for most people my age.
What kind of movies do you like? I like documentaries.
When you got your dreams to fly, you waited so long, wasted minds of forever. You waited so long, and now it's gone forever. It's 6 a.m.